heavyweight clash is actually going to happen, or if it will remain stuck in negotiation limbo. However, UFC President Dana White is standing firm. He insists that this fight will happen. In a recent interview with TNT Sports, White reassured fans, saying, "The fight is going to happen, it's just a matter of when. Getting it signed and done, that's the next step, but the fight will happen." When pressed further about a possible timeline, he remained vague, but confident. "It's just a matter of getting it signed." Now that statement has only added to the speculation. What's the holdup? According to recent reports, Jon Jones is asking for 6 months to prepare for Aspinall. If that's true, we could be looking at a late 2025 booking, meaning fans might have to wait until December or even early 2026 for the fight to finally take place. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has not been shy about calling out Jones, even going as far as mocking him for ducking the fight. At UFC London, when the cameras panned to him, Aspinall held up a rubber duck, taking a public jab at Jones for allegedly stalling negotiations. Jones, on the other hand, has remained relatively quiet on the subject, fueling speculation that he might be hesitant about facing Aspinall, who many believe is the toughest challenge of his career. With both fighters seemingly on different timelines, UFC fans are left in limbo, waiting for an official announcement. One thing is certain. It's only a matter of time before this fight gets booked. Whether it happens in 2025 or later when Jones and Aspinall finally step into the octagon, it's going to be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in history. Stay tuned for more updates. The ring, however, the action wasn't just inside the ring. The crowd had their own battle going on. Before the fights kicked off, Jon Jones and Mike Perry stood on stage to hype up the event, when suddenly a large portion of the audience broke out into chants of Aspinall. The rivalry between Jones and Aspinall has been heating up, especially with Aspinall holding the interim UFC heavyweight title and calling for a unification bout against Jones. The crowd's energy reflected just how much the heavyweight division drama has captured fan attention. Jones, who has been sidelined due to injury, hasn't confirmed whether he'll face Aspinall when he returns, leading to growing frustration among fans who want to see that heavyweight showdown. Meanwhile, over at UFC London, Aspinall was well aware of the scene unfolding at the Dirty Boxing event. When the camera panned to him, he wasted no time mocking Jon Jones in front of the London crowd by holding up a rubber duck. This was a clear shot at Jones, as fans have repeatedly accused him of ducking the fight with Aspinall. The gesture quickly went viral, sparking debates online about whether Jones is truly avoiding the fight or just waiting for the right time to make his return. With tensions rising between these two heavyweight champions, the MMA world is buzzing with one question. Will Jon Jones ever fight Tom Aspinall, or will this remain one of the biggest what-ifs in UFC history? Now Jiri Prochazka fires back at Magomed Ankalaev. The tension in the UFC light heavyweight division just got even more heated, as Jiri Prochazka responded with fire to a call-out from Magomed Ankalaev. After Carlos Ulberg secured a dominant victory over Da Un Jung, Ankalaev wasted no time in stirring up some controversy. He took to flooding social media with their own reactions. Many pointed out how rare it is to see Rogan react so intensely, even for high-stakes fights. The fact that he was this animated speaks volumes about the sheer shock factor of Brady's performance. Following the fight, analysts and fighters alike praised Brady's grappling, calling it one of the most impressive submission victories in recent memory. With this win, Brady has officially cemented himself as a major force in the welterweight division, and his path to title contention just got a whole lot clearer. As for Rogan's reaction, it's already become one of the most iconic fight companion moments, one that fans will be replaying for a long time. Next up, a wild scene unfolded at a recent Dirty Boxing event as fans erupted into loud "Fat Espanol" chants while Jon Jones made an appearance. In a major business move, Jon Jones has now officially joined Mike Perry's Dirty Boxing promotion as a co-owner, bringing even more star power to the organization. Last night, the promotion hosted an exciting fight card featuring none other than the legendary Yoel Romero, who stepped into the boxing ring for a clash against Ross Hilton. The matchup was intriguing from the start. Romero, a former UFC title challenger and an absolute powerhouse at 47 years old, was going up against Ross Hilton, who is 37 and stands at an imposing 6'6". The size and age gap between the two fighters was undeniable, but as always, Romero proved that age is just a number. Despite being significantly shorter and older, Yoel delivered a spectacular TKO victory, reminding fans why he's one of the most explosive and durable fighters in combat sports history. The fight showcased his power and experience, and once again he defied expectations inside. With this post, Holland acknowledged that while he didn't secure a knockout finish, he remains confident in his skills and is looking forward to his next challenge. Now fans are eagerly waiting to see whether Holland stays at welterweight or makes a move back to middleweight to keep up his high activity level in the UFC. Now on to some truly electrifying reactions. Joe Rogan's live reaction to the Leon Edwards vs. Sean Brady fight was absolutely insane. The legendary UFC commentator was watching the bout during a special JRE Fight Companion stream with his friends, and his excitement reached an entirely new level
but doing
as
it in
the
such a
fight
decisive
unfolded.
fashion.
A clip of Rogan's reaction quickly went viral after being shared by ex-user Happy Punch, and fans couldn't get enough of it. In the video, Rogan can be seen completely losing his mind as Brady executed a dominant finish over the former champion. His reaction was filled with pure adrenaline, showcasing just how unbelievable the moment was. As Brady locked in the one-armed guillotine choke, Rogan's commentary became an explosion of excitement, mirroring the shock and thrill felt by fight fans worldwide. Rogan couldn't believe what he was witnessing. The magnitude of Brady's dominant win over a former welterweight champion left him and his co-hosts in complete awe. Fantastic shutout against one of the best of all time in the division. Former champion beats his ass and submits him. His reaction wasn't just about excitement, it was a testament to how monumental this victory was for Brady. Beating a former champion is one thing, but doing it in such a decisive fashion, forcing a tap with a one-armed guillotine, is a whole different level of skill and dominance. Fans watching the Fight Companion stream went wild. A key part of his career over the years, Holland has been known as one of the most active fighters on the UFC roster, often stepping up on short notice to take fights in both weight classes. However, he also recognizes that fighting at 170 lbs requires smart planning due to the weight cut. If he stays at 170 lbs, he has to be smart. He can fight a couple of months down the road, then another one a couple of months after that. If he stays at 170, he'll probably only get 2 more fights this year, 3 at the most, but if he moves up to 185 lbs, he could fight every weekend. This statement suggests that while Holland enjoys competing at welterweight, the frequent weight cuts could limit his activity level. On the other hand, if he moves up to middleweight, where he naturally walks around at a bigger weight, he wouldn't have to drain himself before fights, allowing him to compete more often. Holland also made sure to give credit to his opponent, Gunnar Nelson, acknowledging his elite grappling skills. Fighting a guy like Gunnar, you can say a lot of things, but you can't say he can't grapple. He can grapple pretty damn good. And if you're asking people online, they'd probably say he's a better grappler than Renier de Ridder. If he's a better grappler than RDR, then size definitely matters in this game. This shows Holland's respect for Nelson's ground game, while also emphasizing how size and strength play a major role in grappling exchanges, something he would have to consider if he moves up in weight. Later, Holland took to Instagram to share his thoughts on the fight and to send a message to his fans and critics. Real from the start, that win wasn't a knockout, so I better step correct next fight. For the loyals, homies, we're back. And for the fans who keep going back and forth, trust me. Sean Brady wants to become welterweight champion by the end of 2025, following his 4th-round submission win over Leon Edwards. He made it clear he has one goal, and that's to be the welterweight champion before the year ends. The current champ, Bal Muhammad is set to face Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315 next month. Brady says he's open to fighting either of them. Guillotines are one of his favorite submissions. He did a grappling match with Boogeyman a month or two ago and caught him with that. He said Boogeyman is the coolest dude in the world, but guillotines are one of his go-to moves. He loves jiu-jitsu and wants the UFC to put him on one of their Fight Pass invitationals. He wants to compete and prove he belongs even among the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world outside of MMA. Hopefully, whoever runs that sees this and gives him a shot. Brady also spoke about his title hopes. Someone is already fighting for that belt. Jack D is getting his shot. Jack's not going to get hurt. It's interesting either way. Bal gave him his first loss and he and Jack were supposed to fight, but Brady had to pull out due to a staph infection. Then Jack fought Gilbert, got a bad staph infection and was out for almost a year. The stories are there either way. Those guys are going to fight, and if the UFC wants Brady to take another fight before then, that's fine. If not, and they want him to wait till later this year, he'll fight for the belt. He'll get his revenge against Bal, or he'll settle things with Jack for saying he crapped his pants when he pulled out due to his staph infection. Heavyweight clash is actually going to happen, or if it will remain stuck in negotiation limbo. However, UFC President Dana White is standing firm. He insists that this fight will happen. In a recent interview with TNT Sports, White reassured fans, saying, "The fight is going to happen, it's just a matter of when. Getting it signed and done, that's the next step, but the fight will happen." When pressed further about a possible timeline, he remained vague, but confident. It's just a matter of getting it signed. Now that statement has only added to the speculation. What's the holdup? According to recent reports, Jon Jones is asking for 6 months to prepare for Aspinall. If that's true, we could be looking at a late 2025 booking, meaning fans might have to wait until December or even early 2026 for the fight to finally take place. Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall has not been shy about calling out Jones, even going as far as mocking him for ducking the fight. At UFC London, when the cameras panned to him, Aspinall held up a rubber duck, taking a public jab at Jones for allegedly stalling negotiations. Jones, on the other hand, has remained relatively quiet on the subject, fueling speculation that he might be hesitant about facing Aspinall, who many believe is the toughest challenge of his career. With both fighters seemingly on different timelines, UFC fans are left in limbo waiting for an official announcement. One thing is certain. It's only a matter of time before this fight gets booked. Whether it happens in 2025 or later when Jones and Aspinall finally step into the octagon, it's going to be one of the biggest heavyweight fights in history. Stay tuned for more updates.